alignment is, tell me if this is true in outside sales. Because I feel like sometimes virtual salespeople aren't seen as an integral part of the sales organization.
Yeah, don't get me started on that. Yes, they are critical.
And I think sometimes I've even seen it where the inside sales team actually works for marketing. And my big thing is, okay, marketing is us to many people and sales is one-to-one. And my experience is that marketing departments then dilute that feeling of individual messaging only because it's not their job. Like not because they can't do it. It's that it's not what they typically are doing, right? They're looking at how can we message information about our company out to the world versus Debbie and Lynn having a conversation with each other.
Yes.
So for me, that alignment needs to be, everyone needs to see each other as valuable and to know how does it transition? I was actually talking to an inside salesperson and she was so frustrated because she's an appointment setter. So she found and she's good, right? So she qualified, this is what they need. This is why they're thinking of changing. These are the things we need to be able to do for them. And so they get into the first meeting, as the salespeople call it, right? Which is really the second meeting or 15th, depending on how many conversations the inside salesperson has had. And they gave this like generic pitch. Like they took none of her qualifying information. Like she had teed it up in the meeting for them. And then they just like talked about what the company does, not how they could help that particular organization. And she was ticked off. I mean, she was like,
I don't blame her. I would be. Yes. And, and this is the deal, the point about inside outside marketing, I always say it's a team and everybody truly, truly has a part. But what happens so oftentimes is, as people do, they focus on themselves and what they do, and they don't see where they fit on the wheel with the rest of it. So it all goes around perfectly. Just like your example with the marketing and the sales, I've used that example for years. Coca-Cola goes out, does all this marketing research and all, and they decide this group is who they want to go after. But unless the salesperson can get the grocery store on the corner to buy, then it's not going to happen. It doesn't matter how great all that marketing was to many if you don't have that person. So each has an extremely important part. It's not one or the other. It's all of them working together like a well-oiled machine. And I feel very lucky because in my career, I started in accounts payable at Texas Instruments. So, there's money involved. And then the transition there was to customer service. And then it was to inside sales. So I always felt like I had a unique perspective by the time I got to outside sales. And I really did understand, like you had to talk to the people in accounting, the people in purchasing, the people in inside sales, the customer service sales and all. And this kind of alignment, I think there is not enough focus on it, and it should be added to the plan and what people are looking at doing and helping train their people to be ready for their customers.
Krista, you want to add something about that sales and marketing alignment?
Yeah, I have I'm really passionate about this because I am mostly in marketing, but I have been in sales for 25 years as well. And so when I work with sales leaders, I mean, when you're working virtually, it's more difficult to build that relationship and that credibility and trust. And so how do you do that from afar? And so I talked to the VP of sales. I said, who are you going after? And what are you going to say to them in your messaging? And then I'll write blog articles that support that exact messaging so that the seller can use the blog or a webinar, whatever we decide to do to support the sales messaging. So I just think it's super essential to align the sales conversations and the messaging there with what content is on the website and what marketing is putting out. And then you can help build credibility and trust and help those virtual sellers really gain the traction that they need to keep that conversation moving forward and answer all the objections and questions that prospects have that you might not have extra 20 minutes after the meeting to kind of go over things. You could send them an article. So that's my 2 cents.
And Krista, you know, one of the things that I think is powerful about that too, for whether it's people selling virtually or outside, is the fact that when you're putting that kind of content out there and they can consume that maybe before they've had, or they look at it on a regular basis, you know, they follow you. And so then it brings up other things to them that they may not thought of for themselves. And so then to ask your salesperson when you're talking to them for more clarity, or should I be thinking of this for me? I think that content piece, like I said, it's part of all of it.
I think so.
And
Yes.
Sandy, we are actually going to talk about management and managing inside salespeople in a minute. So you, as usual, are jumping ahead or thinking ahead. So I'm going to defer the question for a moment.